the nigga Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get style. Then he was like, yo, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out, nigga. We gotta kick it.
This is
Puff.
Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it. And he's like, yo, why don't we like go shopping or something? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, what the f this just saying? I got the f away from him because I was like, this nigga, like, fucking, wait, this nigga just tell me he take me shopping. And this is goes on. But there's just a little fruit. Puppy's a fruit pile. It's a fruit pile. Trust me. You see these little weird pictures and shit like that out there? You sitting out there for no reason. Like, you don't see accident pictures when you're like kissing niggas. Like that doesn't happen by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you.
Yes,
I'm telling you. Look. Later you gonna find out a little shit that I be saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Man, listen, I'm trying to tell you the truth. But the truth, sometimes it hurts.
Right.
It hurts people and they don't want to hear that shit, but I'm trying to tell you, ask me, could he take me shopping?
50 Cent has just dropped some wild details about Diddy's rise to fame, and it's definitely something worth talking about. From being a young radio intern to becoming a hip-hop billionaire, the journey Diddy took to the top is pretty shocking. As the founder of Bad Boy Records, Diddy built an empire that made him one of the most influential figures in the music industry. He even got name-dropped in huge songs like Kesha's hit TikTok. But here's the twist: during a recent performance, Kesha made a surprising change to one of her lyrics. Instead of saying, "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy," she left out Diddy's name. This small tweak has sparked a lot of buzz, leaving fans wondering what it all means. It's a moment that has people talking, and you definitely don't want to miss out on what happens next. Kila's own painful experience with her alleged abuser, Dr. Luke, brings up some tough similarities to Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy. This comparison really highlights the toxic cloud hanging over Diddy's public image right now. When Kesha decided to change her lyrics and remove Diddy's name, it showed just how much things have shifted. Before the lawsuit, Diddy was able to handle years of public judgment, always managing to deflect rumors of violence and possible criminal activity. But no matter how hard he worked to clean up his image, controversy seemed to always follow him. Now, as more comes to light, people are really starting to pay attention to what's been happening behind the scenes. Diddy's rise to fame hasn't been without its bumps, and his reputation has definitely had its ups and downs. His journey into the music world kicked off with a huge event when he worked as a radio intern and helped co-host a celebrity basketball game. So, unfortunately, things took a tragic turn at the City College of New York gym, where a stampede broke out, causing the deaths of 9 people. Mayor David Dinkins didn't hold back, criticizing Diddy for trusting inexperienced organizers and pointing out that overselling tickets was a big problem. Despite this setback, Diddy didn't give up. After his time at Uptown Records, he went on to found Bad Boy Records, a decision that marked the start of his path to becoming a powerful figure in the music industry. It's a story of highs and lows, and Diddy's journey is far from over. In 1993, Diddy hit a major milestone in his career with the release of Ready to Die, the groundbreaking album by the notorious B.I.G. This was one of his first big wins, and it helped launch the careers of huge names like Foxy Brown, Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige. But not everything behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records was smooth sailing. Mark Curry, who was closely involved with the label, had a lot to say about what really went down. While he didn't personally see Diddy's violent moments, he did notice a side of him that was overconfident and sometimes too cocky. In fact, Curry believes it was that very attitude that got Diddy fired at one point. Diddy's journey to success definitely wasn't without its bumps, and it shows that even the most powerful moguls have their struggles. At Uptown, Diddy's confidence was through the roof. Some might even call it arrogance. Now, there's nothing wrong with being confident, but when that confidence turns into arrogance and starts showing up in spiteful ways, it can cause serious problems. Mark Curry, who was close to Diddy at the time, looked back and reflected on what he saw. He admitted that he witnessed some troubling moments, like Diddy getting physically violent both toward women and even toward producers and other music executives. It's a side of Diddy that many never saw, and it paints a different picture of the man behind the mogul. It shows that even the biggest names in the industry can have their darker sides. Artists always have their stories, and a lot of the time we hear them from the inside looking out, not the other way around. As a man, sometimes you know that in certain situations, you just need to handle things with a fair one-on-one fight. No extra drama, just a way to settle things between each other and move on. But what's hard to watch is when that line gets crossed. Instead of dealing with it directly, some people end up taking their anger out on others, women, producers, anyone who gets caught in the middle. It's a tough reminder that how we deal with our problems can really show who we are deep down. Sometimes the biggest battles people face aren't with others, they're with themselves. I've seen Diddy struggle with that too. He wasn't just being harsh with others, he was being harsh on himself. What I mean is, he put himself through so much pain and pressure, it felt like he was fighting himself. He brought himself down by using things to cope, like alcohol or pills, whatever he thought could help him get through. It's hard to watch, but this is something a lot of people go through. When someone gets caught up in these habits, it can turn into an addiction, and that addiction starts to take over everything. It's a reminder that sometimes the toughest battles are the ones we fight inside. Pills, they can mess with a person's head, change their ego, and all that. I've seen it all, trust me. And when you hear about Diddy getting physical with his own artists, it wasn't just outside fights, it was happening right within his circle. He had moments where he clashed with his producers, especially the hitmen. Sometimes it even got physical with Diddy and someone else having a real fight. It's wild to think about. He wasn't just fighting with people outside his circle, he was fighting with his own artists, the people he worked so closely with, and it didn't stop there. It was like he couldn't escape it, whether he was at home, in the office, or anywhere. It was always one big battle. It was like Diddy was always looking for a fight, whether it was with his girlfriend, with me, or really just anyone around him. He seemed like he was constantly in conflict with the world. When you think about that, it almost feels like that kind of energy became what defined Bad Boy Records. It was all about that tough, I'm in charge attitude, and that's part of what made Diddy who he is. His rise to fame really took off during the East Coast vs. West Coast rivalry, a time that shaped hip-hop and gangster rap in the 90s. Diddy was right in the middle of it, alongside big names like Suge Knight and Death Row Records. It was a time full of tension and battles, but it also helped shape the music world as we know it today. The deaths of Biggie and Tupac were a heartbreaking end to a chapter in music history, and even though Diddy was never directly involved, rumors and conspiracy theories about what really happened still keep people talking. It's one of those things that'll always be surrounded by mystery. But through all the drama and controversy, Diddy's career only kept climbing. People still talk about how he got so successful, and Jaguar Wright, who's seen it all, had her own interesting take on how Diddy made it to the top. It's a story that raises a lot of questions and sparks even more discussion.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down, heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was gonna meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you wanna know what they all had in common though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And I'll Be Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker. It seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning. Just him. I guess Al disappointed you. You know, I speak for a reason. When you see this bullshit motherfucking game fucking with people that you love, that you like, you know, too many coincidences.
Too many. You.
Honeycomb.
Oh. Stamp it.
We gonna get you and your little dog too.
Diddy found himself in hot water again when an assault charge was brought against him. It all started with the music video for Hate Me Now featuring Nas. In one controversial scene, Diddy and Nas were shown being crucified, and it caused a huge uproar. Diddy, feeling the scene was disrespectful, wanted it removed, but somehow the unedited version still got out. After the backlash, Diddy and Nas confronted the president of Interscope Records. In the end, Diddy pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and was ordered to attend 1 day of anger management. But here's the twist, there's a woman who's been sharing her version of this story for years, and yet no one has really paid attention until now. There's been a lot of buzz recently about Diddy, especially with the Cassie story and the latest accusations and lawsuits. People are starting to notice a pattern. Cassie has said that Diddy used threats to cover up things and even had to pay her off after the incident. Now remember, these are still just allegations, but I want you to hear what she's saying because a lot of folks believe she's been telling the same story for years. The truth has been hidden, and that's why most people don't know her side of the story. It's time we hear it and see what's really been going on. Hey, what's up? Let's talk about the latest drama surrounding P. Diddy, aka P.A. Puff, Daddy Puff, whatever you want to call him. There's a new lawsuit that's making waves, and it ties back to producer Lil Rod. If we look at his last couple of big lawsuits, one with Cassie really stands out. She shared some shocking details, saying Diddy forced her to carry his guns into nightclubs and other places, threatening her to make her feel like she had no choice. There's a lot to unpack here, and trust me, it's definitely worth paying attention to all the details. Stay with me as we break it down. Alright, let me explain why this lawsuit is such a big deal. It involves producer Lil Rod, and in it, both he and others claim that Diddy not only threatened them, but physically hurt them too. Lil Rod is a pretty young producer, but he made a powerful statement about something Diddy said. Diddy apparently told him, "That's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it now. Here's where it gets personal. I'm the woman who was shot in the face during that 1999 Club New York shooting. It happened on December 27th, and that bullet changed everything for me. Stay with me because this is a part of the bigger picture that's coming to light now. Let me tell you what happened to me. I was shot in the face with a 9mm hollow point bullet. A round known as a cop killer, and the thing is, I've always told the same story no matter what. I saw him pull the trigger, and I've never changed my account of that night. Even the surgeon who worked on me removing bullet fragments that were heading toward my lungs testified in the criminal trial. He said that while they were putting me under for surgery, I was screaming, Puffy shot me in the face. This was all part of the testimony in the trial, and it's important to understand the truth of what happened. Stay with me as we dive deeper into this. Here's the thing, it's all in the record and everyone knew he did it. But instead of facing the truth, he paid off the club bouncer, Charisse, and even the club owners to hide the video. That's his go-to move. I've been saying for years that this man nearly took my life and the damage he's caused to me is beyond repair. He's lied over and over, and now I've got all these young folks online claiming I'm just making it up. But look at what he did to Lil Rod, he threatened him. It's the same story over and over. Stay with me because this pattern is coming to light and it's important we see the truth. He actually said, "You don't think I bust my gun? I shot up the club in Club New York and let Shine take the fall for it. I shot those people." Well, here we are, minus 24 years later, and it's finally coming out. See this tattoo? It's a reminder of the day I got shot. It took him 24 years to admit it, but I've been telling the truth this whole time. Yet, people still pick and choose who they want to believe. But let me tell you, you haven't heard everything yet. Not only did he shoot me in the face, but for the last 24 years, he's been harassing me. The truth is finally making its way to the surface, and it's time for everyone to see what really happened. Stick with me because this story isn't over yet. Let me tell you something, the things I've been through, it's hard to even put into words. Back in 2017 and 2018, I had 7 flat tires on my BMW, 7, same tire, over 2 years. And now with this RICO charge coming, all the plotting, all the attempts to ruin my life, it's all catching up. But here's the thing, I'm not backing down. I won't stop until you face the consequences for everything you've done. For every tear I've cried, for every tear my kids have cried, I'm coming for justice. I'm going to get back everything you took from me, and trust me, I'll make sure you feel every ounce of it. This isn't over, not by a long shot. I'm not going to stop until you face the consequences for what you've done to my life. And to all those people online, those who think I'm just saying all this for attention or to cause trouble, what do you have to say now? What's your excuse now? I've had some young people online who weren't even alive when all this went down, arguing with me, cussing me out, calling me everything you can think of. But go check Instagram if you don't believe me, it's all there. People spreading lies about my life, passing judgment without knowing the truth. It's time to wake up and see what's really been happening. I've been dealing with people harassing me, telling me, "You're lying, he didn't do that to you, you just want clout." But seriously, what kind of clout would I be chasing with this? It doesn't make any sense. I guess it might in today's world, but it doesn't add up. Let me make it clear, I'm not backing down. Diddy's history with violence goes way beyond what you might think. Remember that time in hip-hop history when Diddy and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez got caught up in a crazy situation at a New York nightclub? That's just one example of the chaos he's been involved in. Let's dive into the truth. It all started with a heated argument that turned into a shooting, leaving 3 people hurt. Diddy and Jennifer Lopez were arrested and faced charges for battery and gun possession. While Lopez's charges were dropped, Diddy went to trial, arguing that the system was biased against him as a black man. He was acquitted, but his protege, Shine, ended up serving 9 years for assault and gun possession. Shine later said he felt betrayed by Diddy, and now more people are coming forward saying that Diddy was the one truly responsible for what happened. The story is unfolding, and it's clear there's more to this than we knew. Has anyone really stopped to think about how fast Cassie had to run to get away from all of this? I know a lot of people are curious about what's going on with her, and some might even think this is just how things go in today's relationships where it's all about the money. She's getting $500,000 a month now, but she walked away because things got really bad. That's where we are now. But here's the thing, think about it. For all the women out there, why would she leave when $250,000 a month sounds like a lot? What's really going on behind the scenes that made even that amount not worth staying? This isn't just about money, there's a bigger story here, and it's time we started asking the right questions. Let me break this down. The fact that he cut her from $500,000 to $200,000 a month is crazy. Who turns down $200,000, let alone $250,000 a month? What's going on in that relationship that $250,000 wasn't enough? I mean, sure, money isn't everything, but that's a huge amount to walk away from. There's got to be something much deeper going on here. This woman walked away from $250,000 a month, $4 million a year. She was getting $2 million every quarter, but there must have been something so wrong behind the scenes that she chose to leave all that. People need to realize this isn't just about money, it's about something much darker happening that we don't fully see yet. There's this one story about Cassie that really stands out. Someone once asked her why she cut her hair, and she said, well, Diddy liked it that way. The way she said it, though, was really strange. It was almost like she was in a trance. She didn't really seem to have her own thoughts on it, just repeating what he said. I don't know, Diddy just said he wanted my hair this way. It was like she didn't even have a chance to think about it herself. It's a perfect example of how he operates. Everything is about what he wants, not about what she wants. It's a pattern that shows how he controls the situation, and that's something people need to think about. People have always followed him, watched his every move, and he's done all kinds of things to stay in control. But after Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy's troubling behavior came back into the spotlight. Remember back in 2012, when rumors started swirling around about an altercation between Diddy and rapper Kid Cudi at a club, it just added a darker layer to the whole story. But here's the part that's really shocking. Cassie's lawsuit revealed that Diddy allegedly blew up a man's car after finding out the man was interested in her. The New York Times even reported that Kid Cudi confirmed what Cassie said. There's definitely a lot more to Diddy's history than most people know, and it's starting to come to light. There's even an account that backs up what happened. His car really did explode right in his driveway. And then there's Jaguar Wright, who spoke out about all of this a long time ago, and since then, many others have echoed her concerns. Activist Tiffany Red, who worked with Cassie on an album, also met Diddy and saw him verbally abuse her friend. After Cassie settled with Diddy, Red wrote an open letter for Rolling Stone about her experience, where she opened up about the events that Cassie says deeply traumatized her. It's clear that Cassie's story isn't just hers alone. Others have witnessed the same troubling behavior. And now the truth is coming to light, piece by piece. I don't think people fully grasp what it's like to be traumatized by someone who's not just famous but also incredibly rich. It's like being stuck in a situation you can't get out of. Now, Diddy is facing another serious legal issue, this time from producer Lil Rod, also known as Roddy Jones. In a detailed 73-page complaint, Lil Rod claims that Diddy ran a criminal operation, forcing him into unwanted sexual acts with sex workers and even spiking drinks for guests at his home, including underage girls. Lil Rod, who worked with Diddy, is finally speaking out about the abuse and manipulation he says he endured. It's another shocking twist in a story that seems to have no end. Diddy's Love album is more than just a collection of songs. It's a glimpse into experiences that go way beyond his role as a producer. There was one time when he really cornered someone, getting in her face, yelling and cussing her out. It was a tense, frightening moment. Later that night, Red, who was staying at Cassie's house, woke up to loud screaming. She walked into the living room and saw Diddy standing there, emotional, singing "There You Are." Red thought he was singing to her. She remembers his voice. It wasn't the first time she had felt the weight of his presence. It was one of those moments that stayed with her, leaving an uneasy feeling. This is just one example of the disturbing behavior that's been uncovered. It felt like I was in the presence of his dark side, like I could actually feel the monster inside him. I looked into his eyes and I could see that Cassie was really out of it. I've never seen her like that before. It was clear something was wrong. I remember asking him, "What did you do?" because I knew something wasn't right. Then he said something strange, "Tell your girl she wants some birthday." I didn't understand what he meant, but when he turned to me, I told him she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to. He got upset, like he was angry that she wasn't just giving in to whatever he wanted. It was so obvious she wasn't letting him have control anymore. And he didn't like it one bit. The whole situation felt really off, and you could feel the tension in the air. I'm not sure what Cassie has shared with you about these situations, but here's something disturbing. Diddy allegedly hired sex workers, and he would watch them with Cassie, telling them exactly what to do. The documents say that Diddy insisted on everything being recorded, so there's hours of footage and audio capturing some serious illegal activities involving him, his staff, and guests. Recently, Red learned something truly horrifying from Cassie. She told her that the only time Diddy would actually agree to do anything or work on something was when he got what he wanted in situations like these. It's a shocking revelation showing the control and abuse at play. This isn't just a story, it's the painful reality that Cassie lived through. Cassie's music and her whole career, it was all controlled by Diddy. It's painful to think that the songs I spent years writing for him ended up being used to hurt my friend. That's just disgusting. I'll never forget the time Cassie told me she had a black eye under her makeup while filming The Perfect Match. Can you imagine going through something like that? When I look at Diddy's past, all the lawsuits, everything that's come to light, I honestly believe he's a dangerous person. And it's not just him being targeted in this lawsuit. His son, Justin Dior Combs, his chief of staff, Christina Karam, Universal Music Group CEO Sir Lucian Grange, and former MTA Records CEO Ethiopia H. Samara are all named too. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you staying with me to hear this story.